Hi everyone, I'm Victoria Ann Spencer-Kibble from Therapy, and I help professionals to cope with grief, reduce their stress and anxiety whilst also improving their sleep. Now, that may have changed slightly because I've had a really in-depth conversation with somebody today, a really good friend of mine, who basically said to me that I have helped so many people through their grief. And that is true. I became widowed when I was 37, but I don't let that define me because, yes, I am a widow, but I'm also a wife. And also, this is my life as well. So I don't want something that happened 11 years ago to define me. Because if you let things define you, they literally own you. So for example, I never say your anxiety or my anxiety because you take ownership of it then. So it's really good not to actually put that wording in front of something to say that you own it. So yes, I am a widow, but I'm also a wife, and it's also about my story about the recovery of actually that event happening. And as terrible as it was, the 7 signs of grief are very different for everyone. And we certainly get to a certain stage and we all go through grief. So there's like the shock stage, which is the initial paralysed, where you completely feel stunned at what's actually happened to you. And that doesn't matter whether it's your partner, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter. It can be a pet. It's just as devastating. So there's that initial where you feel paralysed completely, and literally where you're standing still and the whole world looks like it's still going around you and you just feel like you're in a film. It's an extraordinary feeling. Then you kind of go on to the denial, where you want to kind of avoid it's actually happening. And this is where you may act not your rational person, that not you starting to show those skills where you're not being able to cope. Then it kind of gets onto the anger and the why me, which can come back year after year after year, around the anniversary time of whenever we have that loss of any loved one or any loved pet, etc., because it's just as devastating for me, certainly. As you know, I love my dog Maxie. He's 14 years old and he's amazing. He's part of my family. So yes, we do get that anger where it's frustration, why me? And certainly my children, I've seen that from time to time. They're bereaved children at the age of 3 and 8, where the anger comes up in them because they want to know why us? Why have we had to go through this? What have we done wrong? And there's nothing that they've done wrong at all. Life just presents us with those situations. And I sometimes feel that certainly grief hits us when it knows that we can cope with it, if that makes sense. And then you start to do bargaining, where you want to, you bottle up everything, where you want to find a way out of it, where you want to bargain and see, can we exchange what's happened to us? But again, that doesn't tend to last very long. The next stage is normally depression, where it's the final realization of, oh my goodness, this is real, this is actually happening. And that is quite a time where I think it hits most people. For myself, certainly it was 18 months afterwards when I hit a barrier where I caught a really serious virus and in my throat. And I was in a coma for 11 days. And if it wasn't for my wonderful family who surrounded me, I may not be here. But thank goodness I am, because both my children could have lost both their parents within 18 months. And that, to me, doesn't bear thinking about. So I am here. And that's part of the reason why I'm actually doing what I'm doing, because it's important that I show other people other widows, other people who are grieving, whether it be a child, whether it be a brother or a sister, whether it be a pet, whether it be a partner, whether it be, anyone. It can be anyone, a friend. That support, that you aren't alone, because that's a feeling that you do tend to get a lot within grief, is that you feel very much alone. And you get a testing stage is kind of next after depression, where you're seeking a solution. You're trying to, for me, I kind of got really busy, where I wasn't coping with everything that was going on. So if I kept myself busy, I didn't have to think about things. And it's like you're literally trying to seek a solution to reverse what's actually happened. And then the final stage is certainly acceptance. And that doesn't mean that you forget about that loved one, that lost one, that person who's no longer here, or that animal who's no longer here. It just means that you accept that they're gone, but and you'll still have either good or bad days, especially around anniversaries, especially around birthdays, especially certain days, for those days when you feel like nobody else remembers and you've remembered. That acceptance hits you, and certainly that is a prolific stage, because not only if once you accept them, you can kind of, I'll never say the words move on, because you don't move on. You just learn to live with what you've gone through, and you either cope with it really well or you cope with it really bad. But that is a choice that you have to make. And so when this person today said to me, why haven't you got that you help people within grief, in your I help certain people. And I went back over some of my clients and I thought, my goodness, they're actually right, because most of my clients as well have actually been through some kind of loss. And the mind is always trying to take you away from pain and towards pleasure. That's its main role. It's trying to keep you alive and take you away from that pain and towards pleasure. So certainly for me, yes, I do. So I've kind of had a rethink about who I help. So most certainly, yes, I help people in and around grief. I help to reduce their stress and anxiety, and which also improves their sleep. And I love doing it. So if there's anything I can help you with, there's going to be a link in the comments below that you can hit. And we'll just have a discovery call, because it's really, really important that you actually connect with the therapist or the person who's actually helping you. So that's why it's a free discovery call, to see if we connect. There'll be some similarity in common, something that makes you think, aha, I really connect with this person. And that's really important as well. No matter what you're going through, make sure that the person who you decide to go and seek help from, you connect with and you get that good vibe, that energy off them, where you know that they can help you. So if there is anyone out there who's suffering with stress, anxiety, or lack of sleep and grief, then by all means hit the discovery button below and I'll be more than happy to help you. Because that's my legacy moving on, that I'm here for a reason as well. And that reason could be just to help you through what you're going through at the moment. And that's what I love doing. So, what kind of my legacy is inspire to achieve and achieve to inspire. That's my ethos. So everyone have a wonderful evening tonight. And I just wanted to drop on here really to explain about why I hadn't worded things differently and why I kind of decided I should. So have a wonderful evening, and I'm always here for you. Good night. God bless. Bye.